This video is brought to you in part by Yo-Yo. What's up everyone? Today we're making
Ham Sui Gok
Fried Glutinous Rice Dumplings, a dish my dad has made hundreds of times.
Hello， 朋友們，大家好啊！今日同大家介紹呢個呢係鹹水角，因為好多朋友佢話而家疫情底下啦，都好少出去飲茶，咁啊想係自己整啲點心食啊咁樣，咁啊我今日介紹一個鹹水角，睇點樣做啦嚇。鹹水角呢就用澄麵粉，呢個就係糯米粉嚟做皮嘅，加上呢用啲豬肉、冬菇、蘿蔔乾同埋蝦米，仲喜歡用啲蝦啊、雞肉又得，乜都得，唔一定用我嘅材料嚟做。
If you've never heard of Ham Sui Gok, they're deep-fried dumplings usually containing pork, mushrooms, and a variety of other ingredients. With a crispy yet chewy crust and a juicy, savory filling, Ham Sui Gok is a common item at any dim sum restaurant. Dim sum, or dim sum, roughly translates to a touch of heart, a reference to the delectable snacks that 10th century tea houses would serve to traveling merchants in Guangzhou, one of the largest international ports along the Silk Road. Even though dim sum is widely considered to belong to Cantonese cuisine, it evolved from a wide range of influences, largely because Guangzhou was and still is a critical hub for Chinese trade and a melting pot of different cultures.
我今日咧就用半磅100安士嘅糯米粉同埋3安士嘅澄麵粉嚟做呢個皮啦，大概可以做到14或者16個鹹水角啦。我先整好個皮先嗬，好啦，呢度就3安士澄麵粉，喺呢度。 有半磅8安士個糯米粉。
We'll put the glutinous rice flour into a separate bowl.
所以咧，呢度啲糯米粉度咧就俾一個半安士嘅白糖。好啦，我哋先用啲滾水開口嗰啲澄麵粉先哦。
We'll measure out 4 ounces of hot water to mix with the wheat starch.
將呢啲澄麵粉攪熟佢。 將佢搓好嘅啦，搓佢成嚿。
Once the wheat starch is solid enough, we'll take about 30 seconds to use our hands to knead the dough into a ball.
好啦，喺度等住用嚇。糯米粉咧要俾啲2個安士個豬油上去，唔用豬油，用嗰啲普通嗰啲煮菜嗰啲油，或者粟米油啊、橄欖油都得。我哋而家俾埋嗰啲油上去，攪勻佢。呢啲凍水咧，你又唔好一下倒晒落去喎。
We'll slowly pour 5 ounces of cold water into the glutinous rice flour while stirring with a spoon.
慢慢俾落去嗬，俾落之後咧，用手慢慢搓佢成嚿，俾埋啲水落去。
Using our hands, we'll knead the dough for about 1 minute. I also wanted to make a special shout out to thank all of our wonderful Patreon supporters for helping bring this video to life. If you enjoy our videos and are interested in supporting us directly, head on over to patreon.com/madewithlau to learn more.
呢個之後咧，又再俾埋嗰啲澄麵粉落去咯喎，俾埋啲澄麵粉落去。
We'll add the wheat starch dough in small pieces to the glutinous rice flour and knead it together. Judy from Patreon asks, can you use sweet potato for the dough? I seem to recall my mom doing that.
唔得，炸唔到。
因為 sweet potato 咧冇咗嗰啲韌啊，好 chewy 嗰啲感覺。
嗱，咁樣情形咧就唔多夠水啦。嗱，我要俾多少少凍水落去啊。
My dad adds another ½ ounce of cold water here because he noticed the dough is too dry and not sticking together.
大力搓近勻佢，將啲菠蘿嗰啲澄麵粉啊，同埋啲糯米粉一齊。好啦，咁樣嚟搓佢啊。
Once the dough is shaken together, we'll knead it for another minute and a half until the 2 parts are thoroughly mixed together.
好啦，嗱睇到嘛？睇到咁樣，好啦，粉就睇好啦。我哋用個膠袋咧，裝住佢，擺喺個雪櫃喺度，等佢慢慢吸啲水分。
如果冇袋咧，
就用咁俾個保鮮紙冚住佢咯。
但係一定要冚住。
如果唔冚住個面咁咪乾晒咯。你一定要搓有嚿粉擺入個雪櫃，有超過1個鐘頭，等啲粉勻勻吸咗啲水分之後咧，咁你先再整個鹹水角，佢就唔會出現話爆啊呢樣嘅嘢噶啦。最常見就爆開啫嘛。我哋而家咧準備嗰啲餡料，首先半個安士咁上下嘅蝦米，俾水洗佢，
We'll rinse the dried shrimp once, then soak it in warm water for 8 to 10 minutes.
喺度冬菇，我就咪浸好咗㗎啦。嗱，如果未浸咧，你可以又係咁樣洗下佢。
With the dried shiitake mushrooms, we'll do the same rinse and soak method as the dried shrimp.
變咗軟啦，嗱，用暖水浸住佢，擺喺度。我哋切豬肉啦，嗱，用3-4個安士咁上下啦，切咗佢，切粒粒嗱。
咩豬肉？
如果你係唔怕肥咧，就五花肉啦，呢啲係膊頭肉嚟嘅，切咗佢一粒粒就得㗎啦。有啲人咧，你或者你去唔想切啦，你咪有啲免治肉、啲肉碎啊，咁啊買啲肉碎翻嚟又得。
Addison, our walk star on Patreon, she asked, "What are other filling options? Can you swap out pork for beef or chicken, or something like bean paste?"
得，即係紅豆蓉就整甜㗎啦喎。
但係牛肉得唔得？
得，咩肉都得，唔俾肉都得。
如果唔俾肉，咁你用咩啊？
啲蘑菇啊，冬菇、香菇啊，都我哋要俾冬菇落去啊。
咁俾多啲冬菇。
你有冬菇。
What about like water chestnuts? Did you add that?
得，冇睇 good, really good.
That was my idea. You said very good.
就繞佢。
After mincing the pork, we'll marinate it with a half teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and 2 tablespoons of water.
將佢撈啊！擺喺度，切埋呢啲蘿蔔乾。
係咪要買啊？
係要買㗎，係啲切碎佢。
We'll first cut the dried turnip into thin strips, then turn it perpendicular to dice into small pieces.
你要食過先知道佢係咩味，啲味咧佢就用啲蘿蔔嚟曬乾，俾啲鹽葉將佢曬乾嘅。冬菇切粒嗱。
We'll slice the top of the mushroom horizontally, then chop into slices. Then turn perpendicular to dice.
蒜頭用2粒嗬。
We'll peel, smash, and mince 2 cloves of garlic.
係西芹，切粒。
Similar to the dried turnip, we'll cut the celery lengthwise into thin strips, then turn 90 degrees to dice.
你蝦埋最好切碎佢，嗱切下佢啦。
We'll take the dried shrimp from the water it was soaking in and dice them into small pieces.
嗱，蝦埋切咗啦，仲有芫茜葱。我就另外一個斬板嚟切啦，因為嗰啲係煮好晒先嚟擺喺面上嘅。而家咧就炒埋呢個餡先啊！而家開鑊。
We'll heat the wok on a high heat for about 30 seconds before adding 2 tablespoons of oil. Make sure to spread the oil around the wok.
啲蒜頭。
We'll stir fry the garlic for 10 to 15 seconds.
炒香蒜頭之後咧，就俾埋啲蝦米上去。啲蝦米咧就一定要俾啲油爆香佢，先至出得嗰啲蝦米嘅味出嚟，跟住夠香嗬。蝦米走咗之後咧，就俾埋啲豬肉上去啦。
After stir frying the dried shrimp for 10 to 15 seconds, we'll add in the pork.
將啲豬肉炒香炒熟佢。冬菇。西芹、蘿蔔乾。
After stir frying the pork for 30 to 40 seconds, we'll add the mushrooms, celery, and dried turnip and cook for 40 to 50 seconds. Now, we'll season with 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, and 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, and stir fry a bit.
炒香佢啦。
Then we'll add a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. To thicken the filling, we'll first mix 2 tablespoons of water with 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, then slowly pour it into the wok. We'll only add enough to reach your desired consistency of filling.
At dim sum restaurants, you know, we were talking about like there's more gravy. If somebody really likes that, what do they need to change?
你中意多濕啲，你俾啲水落去煮咗埋個芡咪有汁咯。但係我就唔中意嗰啲，我中意咁乾。
After stir frying the filling for about 30 to 40 seconds, we'll add about a teaspoon of sesame oil. We have all of these ingredients listed on our blog at madewithlao.com, along with step-by-step instructions and video clips to guide you as you make the recipe at home.
好啦，生火，呢個碟裝起，等佢凍咗之後咧，就可以出嚟包啦。
After the filling is cooled and the dough has been in the fridge for at least an hour, we're ready to wrap our ham sui gok.
粉咧猜好擺喺度已經夠時間啦。我哋而家咧呢個粉出嚟，整埋嗰啲鹹水角啦，嗬。
First, we'll knead the dough a bit to soften it. Then we'll roll out the dough into thick rolls. Next, we'll cut them into equally sized pieces. My dad divides them into 14 pieces here.
好啦，我哋而家開始做啦嚇。首先搓好佢先，搓完佢，搓完之後咧，用手嚟撳扁佢嚇。中間俾個手指公喺度壓，好似個碗咁喺度嚇。我咧就俾啲餡落去啦。
My dad has already mixed the cilantro and scallions into the filling, so be sure to do that before you wrap.
咁曬佢，佢之後咧就攣埋佢啦，就咁攣埋得啦，唔使或者淨話好包到好咩靚嘅嚇。咪搓佢，搓佢好似個欖核形咁就得噶啦，咁就得啦。盡量剪佢勻得冇有啲厚有啲薄嚇，有啲厚有啲薄咧，佢就會炸得唔靚啊嚇。睇到嚇。
My dad estimates the dough is about a 1/4 inch thick. We'll repeat the wrapping steps on each piece until we've got enough to fry. My dad will be frying 8 today.
鹹水角就整下就開始炸而家嚇。我今日選擇呢啲咧茶籽油嚟嘅。茶籽油嘅好處係咩咧？佢耐高溫同埋健康不管你炒又好、煎又好、咩炸都好，呢隻油都可以得嘅。佢可以比平時嘅油高出60度嘅油溫。今日試下用呢個新嘅油，而家開火。佢油咧，佢份量你俾幾多油炸啦？啲油有浸過隻鹹水角為止。
For our case, we use 25 ounces or 750 milliliters of tea seed oil, but the exact amount will vary based on the size of your pot. The reason we're using tea seed oil here instead of something like olive oil is because olive oil has what is called a lower smoke point, which is a temperature at which the oil stops shimmering or rippling and starts smoking or burning. Smoking oil isn't always a problem and sometimes even desired for getting that perfect wok hei in your stir fry, but it's a sign that the oil is breaking down, which can release burnt or bitter flavors or even harmful free radicals. Here's a chart that highlights the smoke points of a few of the most common cooking oils. You'll see that the tea seed oil that we're using today has a higher smoke point than the other types of oils. There are a few other factors that go into selecting oils, like whether they're neutral or flavored, or refined or unrefined. Most cooking oils created by extracting and compressing seeds and nuts, and oils that are unrefined, raw, or virgin are usually bottled almost immediately. They generally have more nutrients, but a lower smoke point and a shorter shelf life. Refined oils go through more processing for a higher smoke point, longer shelf life, and a more neutral flavor. For simplicity's sake, for frying, you generally want to use neutral, refined oils like vegetable oil, corn oil, or like us, tea seed oil. If you don't have tea seed oil, you can click the link in our description to buy the oil we're using today. As an overview, we're going to first heat up our oil to 160 degrees Celsius, then put in our dumplings. We'll then turn off the stove and let the heat of the oil cook the ham sui gok for 3 to 4 minutes, or until they start to float. After that, we'll turn our stove back on and fry for another 14 to 16 minutes at 160 degrees Celsius until they turn golden brown.
到攝氏160度就落去，已經夠啦。如果冇呢個點啊，你就俾嚿濕嘢落去，嗱，即刻跑起上嚟，咁就已經係太熱添啦，170幾度太熱啦。你覺得佢太熱嘅時候咧，你又加翻啲油上去，鹹水角擺落去啦，嗱，要離開擺落去。
而家閂火啊？
閂咗火啦，而家夠溫度啦嘛，夠溫度就閂咗火，俾落去，又等佢浮起嚟，先至再開翻中個火佢啊。紅袋喎！
哇 ！What's that? Ham sui gok.
Ooh.
We'll let the ham sui gok cook with the heat off until they float, or about 3 minutes. 係要喐佢嘅，喐下佢等佢勻循啲啦，炸得啦嘛啊！
而家仲滾緊㗎，嗱啲油仲炸緊，慢慢火咁炸緊佢㗎。
Several people had like related questions, but how do you make this healthier with less oil?
少油我諗整唔到啦。
炸嘢就唔少得油。
係啊 ，because this one is a little bit deep fried. The crunchiness is from the deep fry. So if you
如果你少油就唔炸
整唔到㗎啦。
炸啲鹹水角啦，因為啲粉咧又要油差香你仲要油炸，所以你話食少油咧就唔可以整食鹹水角。但係你俾啲靚啲嘅油出啦，咁咪健康啲咯。好似我哋咁咪淨用嗰啲茶籽油，嗰隻就係靚油，健康啲。
Yeah, our body needs fat, but just not over.
Yeah.
So not 5 of these.
Don't eat fat.
好啦，我而家就開翻個中火㗎啦，佢已經浮翻上去啦。
Once they start to float, we'll turn on the heat to get the oil to 160 degrees Celsius and fry them for another 14 to 16 minutes.
118，而家未夠120度嚇。好啦，而家開緊慢火啲啦嚇。
你想用咩溫度
？160度咁上下。而家碌下㗎啦，而家嗱嚇。
好似有啲肉你要炸2次係咪？呢個係
呢個唔需要炸2次嘅呢啲。如果開始熱啦，中火啊，快啲啦！
How do you know the dough is cooked enough?
初初擺落嘅時候咧，佢浮起咗咧，就有80%熟㗎啦。佢唔熟，佢唔會浮起嚟。佢浮起嚟咧，嗰粒雲吞就熟，嗰湯圓就熟，佢都係一樣。所以話一定要炸嘅時候啲油要浸過就唔使講，浸過佢先知道係可以浮起啦嘛。你再開咗中火炸佢咧，就一定熟㗎啦。不停要喐住佢嚇，咁你再開翻猛火啦，就將炸翻佢香啲，攞佢色啦。得㗎就快㗎啦，而家攞緊色㗎啦。
而家係中火。
因為中火係要開中火咋，唔好得大火。
可唔可以整個好黃？
而家咪炸緊啦，炸緊佢黃啦，越嚟越黃啦，係咪睇到嘛？炸仲有3分鐘咁上下得㗎。而家3分慢啲火。通常咧又要炸成15分鐘先得嘅啫，一次一個係啊。
Winnie from Patreon asks, how do you store them, cooked and uncooked?
擺雪櫃咯，你整好晒之後，你可以唔炸住，食幾多就炸幾多，最好就唔好整熟咗擺雪櫃，整熟咗擺雪櫃咧就冇咁好食啦。
When the dumplings become golden brown, or about 15 minutes after turning the heat back on, we'll turn off the heat and take out our completed Ham Sui Gok.
一凍咗咧，佢仲黃啲嘅啫。
What's the best way to reheat them?
如果氣炸鍋咪氣炸鍋最好噶啦。
我諗氣炸鍋最好啊。
Air fryer.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, you just microwave it.
焗爐都 OK， 咪嗰個就揼咗啦。
Just like this.
靚啦，靚晒啦，你好清啲油啫，你唔邋遢嘅啫。嗱，啲油仲可以用得㗎，我哋唔好掉啲煮嘢，好好。Oh my God! Hear that?
Oh yes, like that. Oh, try some.
Of course. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh my God.
So good. The quality, like we eat dim sum in the restaurant.
Yeah.
But way more fresh and delicious.
Inside it is very, very soft. Outside very crunch.
咕啊，你咕啊，
What's the difference between the Toisan one and the Cantonese one?
台山鹹雞兩隻呢啲啦，冇啖麵嘅，淨係糯米粉啫。
I like both, but I think I might like a Toisan because it's easy to make. I don't really have to take a time to make the shape like this, and also I don't need to fry until very brown.
Yeah.
Flour we're using is a little bit different, but the filling 入邊係差唔多，有啲好同。
Yeah. It's different.
Very different.
It's more chewy, right? 而家
我
唔脆啊。
中意食佢多啲，佢可以裝多啲餡啊入度。好啦，下一碗鹹水角就炸好咗啦，睇佢中唔中意，靚唔靚
Cheers!
Would you like it?
What did you think, buddy?